say, like, I think for sure, if you're technical, that's an advantage. That's fantastic. You know, if you have the expertise in any industry, whether you're recruiting tech and you have a tech background, or you've just taken the time to get to know the nitty gritty of tech, or you're recruiting F&A people and you have an F&A background, fantastic for you. I worked with an amazing recruiter at Apple. Shout out to Brendan, who's very technical, very, very good at the job. But at the same time, you don't have to be that person to be amazing at this job or to find amazing candidates. What you need to be is a great person at gathering information, listening, and being curious. If you can be that person, and then also, like, don't just gather the information and like let it come and go, like write it down, kind of build a log, build a library of information for yourself, like know a little bit or about a lot of things. Yes. Do I gather a ton of information? Yes. I'm super curious, and I'm always trying to connect the dots. And I'll never claim to be super technical, but what I do have is my bullshit meter. And that is something I think you develop over time, where you start to understand what great candidates say and do and how they talk and do the walk, and what, you know, B plus players do, and B players and C players and C minus players. And that's what you can figure out of how somebody is maybe really, really knows what they're talking about versus doesn't. And then you can add the other puzzle pieces in there, right? Where they go to school, where have they worked? You know that certain companies hire top people, or like you said, certain hiring managers hire great people. So if they worked under them, they're probably pretty sick, you know. But you can kind of fill in the blanks from there. But yeah, no, I think it can be helpful. But again, if you're a tech expert and you're a tech recruiter, but you're not a really good person at making connections, gathering information, really giving a shit, no.
Yeah.
I don't really think
giving a shit's the biggest part, right? Like, you
yeah,
have to give a shit. Like, you can't just be like, I just want to make some money. I want
right.
people. Like, it's just, people will read it. And
Yeah.
I'd rather be the guy that gives a shit and does 10 placements a year than the guy who doesn't give a shit and burns through all his contacts and like thousands of people just to get 50 placements a year. You're gonna last maybe 2-3 years in your given market. You're gonna have to switch every year trying to find something new. Last thing I want to do is jump from industry to industry to industry. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, right? Like, it's not a good long-term play. So like at the end of the day, like 10 years down the line, you're just like, you're haggard, right? You've burnt out, you know? So
You've burnt through, like you said, your contacts. And just keep in mind, in whatever market you're working in, whether it's in the US or even global, as a recruiter, specifically tech, I'm sure it's the same in other industries, your name is your brand. So whether you're partnering with an outside agency and you want to use, like, you know, Will McGee, people know who you are and people talk. And if you end up using somebody that may be technically on paper great, but isn't a good person, people don't want to work with that person. Your candidates don't want to work with that person, you know? So that matters. Your brand matters. And that's where I think, like, we always going back to the human aspect, you know, it's my favorite. That's why giving a shit matters, because word gets out who you are, what you're about. And that's where, whether you have the tech knowledge, fantastic, but still be good and care.